And we are recording, I think. Hi, everybody. Hi, Mrs. Pierce.
Hi.
Okay. What I was hoping to do today was talk about intervention. Now, first off, it's not really called intervention. We call it Pride.
Mm-hmm.
We call it intervention period, and we call it, did I say Pride already? We also call it advisement. Yeah, that's what the district calls it, and that's what it looks like in their schedule.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all the same thing. It's this 25 minutes at the end of most days of school, not on Wednesday. And I don't know how long we've been doing this. Like, what's the history of the advisement Pride period at this school?
Well, it's changed over the years. When I first started, it was 3 days, I believe.
Right.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because we had Monday early release or late start. It was longer periods.
Yeah.
So it's evolved.
Mm-hmm.
As teachers realize what we need for students. So now it's moved into the 4 days. Shorter periods at the end of the day rather than in the middle of the day. So yeah, we've evolved a little bit. It also started as DEAR. That's how it was when I got
here. Drop everything and read. Yeah.
So intervention wasn't really happening. Even teachers were reading. Everybody on site was reading. We realized kids didn't really love that, and that we needed a time to be able to meet with our students. So that's how it sort of changed or has evolved over time.
Well, I wasn't at TMS when the district started putting that period in. But there was this, we call it like the PLC movement, Professional Learning Community Movement. And part of the philosophy of that was kids need extra time often. Yeah. They need a little extra math, they need a little extra language arts, they need a little extra attention. And so whether it's in the morning or in the afternoon, it's just a good time to pull some kids into your classroom and give them a second chance to learn something.
Right.
But a lot of our kids, we are finding, don't really need that. In fact, our numbers tell us about half of our kids are just crushing it academically. They're on the honor roll, they get excellent state test scores, and yet they have an intervention time. And so lately we've been doing iReady. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about iReady.
Yeah, so we decided drop everything and read became intervention. Everybody needed intervention. That's not the case. We have amazing students here. And so we were trying to manage students. What could they be doing while teachers are meeting with small groups? iReady came into the picture, which is a fantastic program. The data has proven that kids are, improving in their reading and math through iReady. But we have a lot of kids still at grade level, and which means they do not need intervention. So we've now adjusted, looked at, our procedures, and we realize not all the kids need iReady. Right. So we can sort of use iReady as needed. But we want to offer opportunities for kids to do other things during that period, while the kids that need intervention are able to get that from their teacher. So.
Well, it was always supposed to be that. We just hadn't until now had an idea how to do intervention while simultaneously doing enrichment.
Right.
So intervention and enrichment at the same time. Now, some of our kids haven't used it as enrichment pyramid or enrichment period because they're in something like ASB or jazz band.
Which really is enrichment.
Yes, absolutely it is.
Yeah, so
that's perfect. Yeah. But your average kid who's not interested in one of the clubs we have is really an intervention, even if they have good grades and good state test scores and all indicators say they're doing fine.
Exactly. Yeah,
so we want to change that.
Yes, we do. It's funny because it must have been 7 or 8 years ago when I was teaching 6th grade and we were cord, and I was with Danielle Calverley, and we kind of noticed that not all kids needed intervention, obviously. Some kids needed enrichment, and some kids did just want to read. Right. And so we set up sort of a wheel between our 2 classes and a 3rd teacher, and we were able to provide the kids that needed intervention, kids that could use some enrichment, and then the silent reading group. And so we kind of looked at that model moving forward, and that was always kind of in the back of my mind because it worked so well. And we were able to meet with the kids that needed it, and then other kids were able to do some passion projects and other different things that they loved and they enjoyed, and it made school fun. So that's kind of where we're going with that model in mind. And so what we're able to do is look at iReady data, look at classroom data, look at teacher observational data, and really target the kids that need that intervention time in math, which will be our first focus, and hopefully eventually language arts as well. And then provide a place for kids to do some other learning. Whether that be outdoor activities with sports or, different enrichment programs that teachers can provide. So it's going to look a little different, but I think the kids are going to enjoy it.
Sure. Yeah. One thing that I've been exploring a lot and sharing with staff is developmentally, we've got 11, 12, and 13-year-olds. By the end of the year, some of them are 14. But it's very developmentally correct to provide opportunities for kids to work on things they want to work on, like a passion project, or to be connected with intramural sports. There's like this famous book from the 80s called Caught in the Middle, which was really the first definitive guidebook for how to teach middle schoolers, and intramural sports was a big part of it. And I know as we have kids start to talk about this idea, a ton of them want to sign up for that. We have PE teachers and general ed teachers who want to go out there and do that. And then if they did need some help in math, or if they do need help with reading sometime in the future, we're going to get that set up. Then they can go get help when they need it. And if they don't need help, then we don't want to make them do iReady anymore. It doesn't make any sense.
Right. Because then they don't enjoy school. We want them to love being here, and part of being at school is having fun, engaging with your classmates, and
feeling connected.
Yeah, I mean, I think about myself when I was in middle school. We had middle school sports, and that was like the reason why I wanted to go to school. Yeah. And then obviously as I got older, I learned to love learning. But when I was in preteen, I just wanted to play sports. I wanted to have fun with my friends. And looking at the student survey, they have told us that that's what they want as well. And same with the enrichment, the dance class that we're going to offer. So many students were asking about that. What kind of dances are we going to learn? And to build that excitement on campus, and giving these kids an opportunity to have a piece of their day that they absolutely love. Hopefully we want them to love the whole day.
The whole day would be nice, but a piece of the day we'll take it.
Yeah, so that's kind of what we're looking for.
Let's unpack that so parents know what we're talking about. Obviously, we're hinting at, we're making a big shift for this second semester. So first semester and last year was, I've called it cookie cutter intervention. Everyone kind of gets the same thing, and that's just not ideal. And so what we're doing in the second semester is we're going to do targeted intervention. We're going to give intervention to the kids who really need it. And if students don't need it, then we're going to give them some choices or some extra things. So with teachers, what we did first was with teachers, we asked them what they would be interested in doing. Do you want to support kids with homework? Do you want to support them in math? Do you want to do some sort of a passion project, activity-based group with them? Do you want to run intramurals? Something to make kids feel connected. And then let's talk about the student survey. What are we asking students to do in this?
Yeah, so the students were given some choice, and I just was able to look over. I think we have 800 students that filled out the survey, so I was looking at the numbers.
Wow.
And one of the surprising requests was homework support. And on the survey, I gave students an opportunity to add information that they wanted us to know. Is there anything else you want us to know? And a lot of the students that chose homework support said they just want to be able to do homework with the support of a teacher, or they want to get their homework done before they go home, and they have sports after school. And so I thought that was interesting. Enrichment was, obviously a huge, I don't even know what the word is, request.
It was very popular. You're talking about kind of the wheel idea you were talking about earlier. Talk about that. So I don't remember exactly what's going to be in that. Where do we know yet?
I don't think we know specifics yet, but we have a good idea of what. And I talked to the kids about that, where every 4 weeks or so they'll be able to rotate into a new enrichment. So we have a teacher that's really interested in pen pal writing. The kids didn't even know what that was. So I had to talk about that and explain that, and then they were excited. I shared my story. I had a pen pal in middle school that lived in Alaska, and I ended up meeting her when we wrote for 6 years, and then they were excited about that. We have dance, we have STEM, what was one of the other ones? Possibly crocheting. I mean, we have,
sky's the limit. Whatever teachers can provide. Like in the old days, we had a sewing club. I remember. I couldn't believe the sewing club was so popular, but those kids loved it.
So I mean, and honestly, getting the students suggestions are great, because these kids, they come up with the best things. Just talking to them and getting suggestions from them has kind of opened my eyes to different opportunities that we can provide here. But the other thing too is that students are selecting math support. And so I've been able to work with a lot of students on campus in small group, and almost every time I leave a small group, kids are asking, can we do that again? And I think just having that one-on-one small group attention with the teacher will help them feel more confident and more successful, and give them that hope that they can succeed in math. So the range of selection was surprising. You know, I mean, obviously the intramurals was the most popular, I think, but there are a lot of kids that chose homework and math as an option.
Great. I
so
can't wait to see.
I think being able to provide kids an opportunity in an area where they feel like they need, you know, maybe extra outdoor, extra enrichment, or extra academic, and letting them have a buy-in to their academic success is really cool.
So let's talk about the targeted intervention. It sounds like most of our kids are going to be in enrichment because either they're at grade level, they're very close, or some of them are far beyond. You know, they really don't need iReady or access to a teacher unless they want to do homework or something like that because they're busy after school. But a significant portion of our students do need targeted intervention. Right. They're struggling at math. We have data that supports that. Yeah. So let's talk about that. I know you and I talked early on. We don't want those kids to feel like, oh, I'm not getting, to go to dance or whatever. So let's talk through what that's going to look like.
I've heard this before. It's the I have to or I get to mindset. And so I think with my students, like, I get to work with my teacher 25 minutes a day, 4 days a week. That is going to help me. And so it's that kind of conversation that math teachers are going to be having with their students. And that's the way I speak to my students. Like, look at this opportunity you get. You get to have me, pretty much one-on-one. The groups are going to be very small. Teachers are going to be able to choose their students based on observational data in the classroom. Kids that they know that need that little extra will help them. Right. iReady data, classroom data, and obviously our CAS scores. So there's a variety of ways we're going to choose these students, but again, choose, and that's the thing with the students. It's like, we're going to choose you to be part of this because we believe in you, and we know that with just a little extra support, you're going to do well. So
that's exactly it. I mean, I think this group of math teachers are like perfectly poised to pull this off and make the kids feel like, oh, I'm lucky to be in here. Maybe it's you're in there with a group of 8 or 10, but to get that daily support to get you just over the hump, where you need to be. That's going to be a relief to them. The classes are going to be fun. There's still going to be all kinds of reward systems built in. They can still have fun Fridays or things like that if they're getting caught up. So I just don't see any downside to that. And I could picture a kid going, oh, I got math, I signed up for intramurals. I just think it'll take a couple of days to turn that mindset around. You can do intramurals, next,
or Fridays,
the next rotation or whatever. We'll find time for that. Right. But right now, we picked you because we think we can have a huge impact on your academics here.
And I think when kids can see that translate to their grades, I
right.
think that's going to be. And then also, we've had so many parents that have reached out. How can I help my child? What can we do? And as a teacher, we want to provide that, and it's just, we're limited. We have only so many minutes with them a day, and trying to find all the ways. And so this is just another way that we can help support parents and their child in success in math. And honestly, if they can be successful here, their high school future is going to be even more, smooth and successful. So that's what we want. Right. But I think it's going to be a relief for parents, a lot of parents that want help for their kids, and they just are trying to find a way. Right. And if the kids see the success translate into their grade, it's going to feel good.
And for now, we're just going to follow the greatest need. I mean, our data points to math, and that's where we have more students performing below grade level than any other subject area. That doesn't mean we can't do a reading intervention, towards the end of the semester, or whatever the data tells us to do. But really, we're just following the data, and there's a big need here.
I think the culture of math. And I hear this all the time. I'm just not good at it. I'm just not a math person. Right. I hear parents say it. And to kind of change that mindset with students, like, it's a skill. You have to practice. Sure. And sometimes you need a teacher to teach you the skill to be able to practice in the right way. And a lot of times in intervention, people think, I think the thought is that it's going to be, boring and not fun. And it's like, no, math is really fun. And we have so many games and math games and number sense, activities that these kids can do that will build their skills to help make them successful. So,
well, you're a math teacher. I was a math teacher for a long time. It's amazing how, you'll spend 5 hours on a topic in class, and the kid's like, I don't get it. 15 minutes after school or whatever of tutoring, and they're like, oh, is that all it is? Now I get it. So I think for them to have a daily opportunity to do that, they're going to, find themselves at grade level very, very quickly. Okay. what else do we need to talk about? I don't know if anyone's still watching. So
I think it's good. Yeah,
good?
I mean,
okay.
Obviously through this, there's going to be some bumps in the road, and we're going to work it out. We have a great staff, and we're committed to excellence and providing the best opportunities for these kids. And I think we've noticed that something's needed to change. And so, we have a great team on board to try to make this change. And I think student feedback is super important. They tell you like it is, and I love to hear from my students, but I think it's going to be awesome. Sure. I'm excited to really get to work with some students that need it and just see their growth. So
we can't guarantee that every kid's going to get exactly what they want, but we can guarantee, I think they're going to get something meaningful.
Right.
And so if they stick with it, I think they're going to get a lot of benefit out of it. So
I agree.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.